Back to it. So what is that, like one? It's only gonna get worse as you get older. In what world would you suspect that? Yeah, she's just as much as of a dumbass. It must be genetic. The airheadedness. Acting. How do you have time for any of this? Give me my allowance. Give me all your money, bitch. Yeah. Oh yeah, this guy. I say like this guy. He's the guy. What? Emotional support babies. This ain't so bad. Not enough energy. How can you speak so fluently? Let's go. Never show your kids YouTube. It's funny, like, revisiting this first season after seeing Mushoku Tensei, because it's like, it's very similar. I mean, this show only spends about this episode with them as kids, whereas Mushoku Tensei spends like an entire season, which is them speaking so eloquently. I should just jip at someone's kid. If this happened anywhere else, it'd be like, police. I mean, I guess it's good to get these lessons so early. Yeah. You're watching stonks in front of you, kid. I mean, it's cool when, like, you break it down like that. I mean, cool, but also, because, I mean, it pretty much is the same in real life, too, you know? When you break it down, like, how actors are chosen. Because I feel like the opposite effect of that is happening now with certain things. Because obviously you get, like, the star actors and your stuff. And, like, it gets attention if it's, like, a star actor that's going off and doing some interesting, like, one-off film. If you get some where it's, like, every actor is, like, a star actor, it's like, okay, sure, a little oversaturated. But not every star actor is a good actor. Case in point here, it's just like you have your main role, but then you have the secondary ones, which are the real talent. It just elevates the whole project. She does not look like a high schooler. That at least feels accurate. I mean, other than just like her purple hair clashing with the green outfit. Cause she's like, what, 19, 18 maybe? You're a senior at best. That camera presence, it at least can translate. I mean, when your eyes are bioluminescent, hard not to look. I imagine there's people who have done eye cosplays, or even some of them where like they have contacts that maybe have like little lights in them. That would fucking destroy your cornea, but it would look cool. Nice. And then they probably spent all day on that one scene and just like, well, takes. Precious baby. I wish he still called him that. Oh yeah, isn't this when we get to meet my favorite character? Yeah, I would not call this heavyweight. I mean, you're here, so obviously this isn't big budget. I see your potential. I think it's also kind of blackmail, but Just act like a kid. I mean, that is sort of a thing. These young kids who kind of like talk back to the elders. And it's like, yeah. So he has like that side of I in him, sort of, even though we're just like, hey, pay attention to me. Even though genetically they are Ai's kids, they're also picking that up from her. Even though both Ruby and Aqua had their own lives before this, because Ruby's steadily gonna get the face of Ai, whereas I think Aqua gets more of the voice. Why did she even come here? The oldest she got was 12 last time. Yay. I mean, not my favorite character yet, but you know, this first season cements pretty much that she's my favorite. Which, you know, hurts going into season 2 a bit, because she doesn't really, I mean, she gets her moments, but not as much fun stuff as in this first one. Gotta get over the growing pains, though. It's also sad knowing, because we get more of her backstory, more of it in season 2, because we have that whole episode. It's like knowing how her mother treats her at this point, and just like the different rejections she's had. So I have more sympathy for her at this point in her life. Maybe he will actually kill someone at some point. This is The Shining. Just kind of do your own thing. Yeah. Seems normal, but then... yeah, just look at that face. It wasn't about what was being said, it was what was being shown. I mean, that's where you get like the divide here, because it's like he knows Kana will do her job and does it well. I mean, obviously at this point Kana's just like wanting that praise and recognition, but it's just kind of like that expectation level. It's like the bar is going to continuously be raised from here with Aqua, whereas Kana, it's like the bar's high already. You know, it's like he still does a good job. You're not going to be praised for every little thing that you do. But it is also the case here where the director, his eyes is really focused on Aqua because it's like trying to cultivate that, and it works. Yeah. For some reason I remember this differently, but it's harder, you know, knowing more of her story. It's like, oh, she's being outdone. And I'm sure even some part of her here feels like she's being replaced. It's tough. Because like first time watching this, it kind of just feels like, oh, okay, it's just like this classic kid thing where it's just like, no, pay attention to me. But it's like, oh no. It's like her mother isn't even here, right? I mean, that's a given. Yeah. You gotta be humble at the start. One take wonder.
でもそうしろとは一言も言ってない。もちろん演出や意図を理解して演じるのは役者の基本だ。だけど言語化できない意図まで読み取ってくれる役者ってのは貴重。正解の絵があるんだからな。すごい演技よりぴったりの演技ができる役者になれ。役者にならないし。こうして僕は There you go. Once you dip your toes, even if you don't jump in, you're gonna get dragged in. Especially if you show that little bit of talent. Oh, you won't, alright. Love seeing the start of that. It's almost like immediately when they meet again, and it's just like, oh, swoon. Right. Would like to see that movie. Jack of all trades. Jesus. So they're only 3. Am I getting the time frame close? He's almost 20, so he's 19. So it's been 3 years. 3 years have passed since I was reborn. Okay. They're only 3, Jesus. I thought they were like 4 or something at this point. Interesting, not really believable. 3 years old, no one's batting an eye.
3 years to ask these questions. I mean, you could gather that they were a kid. I think one of the more trippy things about being reborn and as like a baby again would be the perspective change. Not like emotional perspective, like physical perspective. Because, you know, you have those things like playgrounds or just like foods or anything where it's just like, this was so much bigger when I was a kid. Like, yeah, because you physically were smaller. So it just would be wild to just go back to that perspective shift. Like, you know, one of my funniest memories with that is like my kindergarten that I went to. Like, I remember there being a basketball hoop there, which, like, you know, back then it was like any other basketball hoop that was just like pretty up high. Seeing it again, like over 10 years later, it was like this high. Like, I could walk up to it now and just be like, bonk. But back then it was like the biggest hoop ever. I'd be worried as a parent to see what kind of book you're reading. I would be so over this shit. I like the idea of Aqua going like, don't worry, teach. I'll go talk to her. Well, you'd never really could walk before. Kids these days, I tell you, well, that says your age. Not by choice. Some nice motivation. This is one of my favorite scenes. Yeah, that'd be some shit though, especially like coming from a life where you never really got to walk. I mean, I don't know how long she had that illness for because she was 12 when she died. You basically were barely walking at that point, and like she already was losing motor functions. So like then go back to the start again of her life. Fact that she can see that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, used to bracing herself. I'll help you fly. It's funny thinking back on these memories and calling her mama. Oshi No Ko. That's one of my favorite scenes in this whole show, I think, is that... I mean, this show has a lot of those moments where it's just kind of like they have like their bursts of inspiration that goes into kind of like that internal dance or singing or whatever. When I think about this first season, I think a lot about this scene just because it's so strong. Like I nearly like start tearing up there. Because I mean, a lot of this story is Aqua. Like I would say he is the main character. A lot of Ruby's stuff really comes in this first episode. But to be fair, I feel like this is her finally putting that behind her. I mean, she'll never obviously forget her original life because how could you, but we don't really get a whole lot more with Ruby in this first season. Like, you know, she's here and there on stuff, which is why again I'm very excited to go into season 3, just where her character leaves off in 2. It's like, oh, okay, well at least we're gonna get something. But this is just sweet because it's just she can walk in the literal and metaphorical sense of she can walk on her own, and it's just really powerful and hits oh so much harder, especially after seeing the end of this episode. She has the talent, just never had the opportunity. Have a scary thought, her being an idol. Yeah, terrifying. Want to try and actually meet your children? Good thing she caught up talking about this. Yeah, she's a Virgin Mary, of course. I mean, with where this show goes, I wouldn't have been surprised if that was the twist. Just like their father, like a twisted form of God or whatever, just like, have my Jesus children. Yeah, this is... Jesus. You should have arranged to meet not at your house. Geez, so she's still 19. So close to the dome. I get it's one thing when it's your job is basically meant to be you, like you're a face, you're a media personality, an actor, a performer. I don't see myself ever getting to that point. I mean, naturally with the job that this is, like, you know, it's a lot of dealing with listening to my own voice and seeing my face and editing stuff. I still can't really get over that barrier of like, I can gladly watch and listen to my own videos on my own all the time, but the minute anyone else is there, or like, you know, someone will bring up a video of mine, my body immediately goes into flight mode and is like, I want to jump out of my own skin. And especially if it's a case where like, if it's a family member or someone or whatever, like brings up my old videos from when I did stage performances and stuff and plays. It was easier to watch back then, like not long after it happened, just because obviously it was fresh. I was still thinking about it. I could easily just be like, yeah, that was a thing. But now that so much time has passed, it's like, please don't. You know, it's just a mental hurdle. It's just, it happened. You can't change it. I've just always had that like secondhand embarrassment and cringe. All that to say is I could never do this. Just seeing my face everywhere. Well, should have said that. I guess that's been set up from the beginning. Like, lies or love. Yeah, this is the interesting part of her character. That's sus, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. How have you been here all this time? The way this show does eyes, well, I mean, main character's eye. Well, eye, Oshi No. I love when it shifts from like the light in the eyes to the dark in the eyes and then back and forth. Because normally anime does the thing where it's like the pupils go away and there's like that shade over them and it's just like, oh yeah, dead inside. But this is like, it messes with the colors more. Little did she know the life she would miss out on. I mean, but they're not meant to know their stories, though. Yeah, that's kind of the point, but she takes this way too much to heart. Yeah. You actually do love. You just never knew the truth of that yet. Yeah, some form of it. A lot of it physical. Yeah, that's the big thing. Well, before we get into the scene, this finally was just like, oh wow. The character of Ai right here just, it feels like it comes out of nowhere, but then like you realize, oh, it's because we have to get this before. Yeah. But it's fascinating. Just because she has a level of like narcissism to her, which again, you kind of have to in this line of work. She like permanently has this glow in her eye and this smile, but it's just that thing of like, it's a lie. But that's a powerful line though, just because like the whole thing of saying I love you, but not really meaning it, like knowing it's a lie because it's part of the job and the whole thing is like, you know, it's like, yeah, I love you all. I don't. But then that though, of just like, if I said it to my own kids and it was a lie, that would be horrible. But I mean, that kind of answers your own question, though, because if the thought of even saying that and it potentially being a lie hurts you, then you do love them. I mean, obviously it's different because you're having that talk with yourself and that bearing that weight on your own. Of course, it's a self-imposed weight because it's all just, you know, anxieties and different forms of it and whatnot. It's very unique. I like it just because, you know, a lot of times anxieties and depressions, how they're portrayed in media a lot of the time is kind of the same. It's just like, you're sad, get over it. But Ai's thing, like, it's an anxiety where it's like the opposite of performance anxiety, where it's like she has less anxiety on stage than in just real life. But, you know, that's a different conversation as well about like the acting life versus real life, which, I mean, we can talk more about that obviously as we watch the rest of this first season again. It's interesting that she dies, just because, I mean, that's what sparks the rest of the story, but it's an interesting idea of like, what if she lived? Because I would have liked to have seen her like challenged more with that. Like, ultimately the biggest turning point and push for her is, you know, her final moments when she finally does say that. You know, I would have liked to have seen her get challenged more with that idea of I love you and all that. To be fair, where the story does go, I like, which let us proceed accordingly. It's on the day of the concert as well. Ask question, doesn't wait for answer. I'm honestly shocked he doesn't try to kill them too. Is this the truth you wanted to hear? Yeah. Sorry to pause, but it's just like so many layers with that. Like, I didn't even realize, yeah, that quick thing with the star sand. I just realized the poetry of hers. Be like, I was never good with names, but she remembers him. Also, people's. The priorities. The paths she sends these kids on. The star fading out. Oh god. I both love and hate that shot. Oh man. Dark clouds over Tokyo. Oh yeah, an accomplice, alright. Fuck me. Ooh, man, I held it. I held it back. That scene never gets easier. Well, naturally, get the other members of Bikumachi into a fucking bunker.
世間の反応としては概ね同情的な意見が多かった。死者をおもちゃにして他人の注目を浴びたい連中はそこらにいて、多くの勝手な憶測や怪文書があれば、中には真実に近いものもあって。アイドルが恋愛したら殺されても仕方ないのね。なわけないでしょ。
How dare someone have a life outside of the produced life that you see on stage? Mental health, man. Don't make light of it. Because this is the kind of shit that'll happen.
それを否定するのって虫が良すぎない。自分に彼女がいない怒りを女にぶつけてるだけだろうが。なんでネットってこうなの？死にたくなるようなことばっかり。有名性って何？お客様は神様みたいなこと言ってさ、それはお前らの使うセリフじゃねえんだよ。どう傷つける名作より使うな。3日も経てば愛の死亡というコンテンツは消費され尽くし、話題に上げられることもなくなった。
Yeah, just another day in the life, you know.
僕らについては犯人がすでに死んでいることと俺の年齢もあり、被害者向けのカウンセリングは長く続いた。うちの子になりませんか？
I mean, where else would they go, you know? Because that's the thing, it very easily could have been that they ended up like how I was. It's just like, don't have kids, not gonna go with her. I mean, better her than the alternative. Don't put them in the system.
でも私はあなたたちを自分の子供のように思ってる。
That is that sweet part of her thinking of them as her own kids. But there's that divide.
私がアイドルになるんじゃないか。アクアは私なんかでもなれると思う。儲かりたいなら別の仕事の方が手っ取り早いし。
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about something like this happening.
ルビーは立ち直っていくのだろう。
Yeah, well, also respectively, she wasn't in the bloodied arms of her. Honestly, if it was reversed and Ruby was the one being held, she would have come out much worse, especially. I think Aqua's, he's not okay, but, you know, he's a doctor in his previous life, so, you know, Ruby in her old life, though she was in a hospital, it's like she didn't really see blood like that. I would hope so, at least. Still traumatizing nonetheless. But for him, though, it's like a compounded thing between I and also Ruby from her first life. Oh, yeah, I forget that that's the plot point. Begin the detective work. You figured at one point they would have asked her directly, you know, Aqua and Ruby, just anything. My god, time to break through this industry. Adopt me. My god, just like not even a transition, we just jump. His voice. Well. Okay, yeah, the prologue concludes. Spot the main characters. Revenge. Oh, we'll get the opening next time. Even split up, man. That is long. Great, though. That was episode 1 of Oshi No Ko. Hard to call it just episode 1 because it's a movie. It is a movie. It is so much. My only gripes really with it are some of the transitions between stuff like that there. It was just like, oh, raise me. Anyway. Time jump 10 plus years, but I mean, it's just they're both in those places where it's just like you can figure out where they go. I will say the tone of the show going forward is so different from this. There's those moments, sure. That's why when I first watched this show and I watched this episode, I was so caught off guard because you think the show's gonna go one way and then it just goes completely another way. It's like I never would have guessed that it would have become like a revenge story. It's those two stories really. It's the revenge and also just Aqua and Ruby coming into their own and going down the paths that I wanted for them, but still kind of living in their own way. Which is why like Ai's existence, it's interesting rewatching because it's kind of more of like a curse in a way, because I mean, Aqua's fear for Ruby ultimately is that like he fears that the same thing's gonna happen to her. And even when we get to his relationship with Kana and Akane, he has that fear for all of them because he grows to get close with them. Which is why one of my favorite shots later is when Aqua has the visions of Kana, and it's in that same style as I at the end here, just like that creepy look, and it's like, well, don't want that happening. But I don't know what the consensus is on the ending of Oshi No Ko. Like, I remember when it ended, and I've tried to avoid the ending itself, but I haven't heard great things. I haven't heard bad things. I just haven't heard much. Despite all that, the first episode, man, it's like I almost kind of want to wrap out just like, yeah, that was a good show, you know? I mean, in a way, it kinda is like a standalone thing. I mean, obviously not really, just because it goes into like, okay, now the end of the prologue. But like I talked about before, it's funny having watched so many other shows in between when I first saw it and seeing it again now, because spoilers for Vinland Saga, but it very much is similar to the start of that as well. Well, I mean, Vinland Saga wasn't the first to do that kind of revenge tale where it's just the parent or guardian figure is killed when they're a kid, and then they grow up and get so much stronger and gain more knowledge, and then they find who killed them and they go on this revenge quest. I mean, Vinland Saga's revenge quest is different. I mean, I won't get into specifics on that, but similar vibes. I guess sort of Attack on Titan as well. Both start with the death of a kid's mother and then become so much more than that by the end. This show is so interesting, as we'll get into, obviously. It's a grounded show by all means, but there is this supernatural aspect that's under the surface. Going into the later seasons, and you know, season 3 in a few months, what direction are we gonna go with that? And that eye death, man, it gets me every time, just because I mean, those last like 10 minutes of her life, you get so much with her character, and like it kind of feels a little rushed, but it's also like you kind of have to have that because it'd be weird to get it after the fact. You know, Ai as a character, she's not squeaky clean, which I like it. She has a darkness to her all the way up to the very end, and then even her being like, oh, I was able to say I love you, just her having these wishes for her kids and whatnot. But they pursue that path. It just kind of sucks just because you just got stabbed all because you became an idol, and then now you would put that on your daughter. I mean, that's what Aqua said there at the end. It's just like, why would you bother if this could happen? I wasn't exactly the brightest bulb, but I mean, she was clever with how she worked in her field. It's interesting to rewatch this, viewing her character. I mean, that's just been fascinating rewatching any show that I've enjoyed, just looking at the characters in different lights. And there will be many more characters and moments though, as we'll get into, but it is arguably one of the best pilots in anything. I mean, it's kind of cheating because it's technically like 4 episodes in one, and I kind of wish more shows would start like this, at least with like longer first episodes. Like, you know, Fate Zero, one of my favorite shows ever, has like a 45-minute first episode, because then the next episodes after this are just gonna be lightning fast. But you know what? We'll get to that in the future. But either way, this was my reaction to episode 1 of season 1 of Oshi No Ko. Join me next time for episode 2, as everything else will be coming out soon. The next time, I'm Lancer. Thanks for watching.